As of this recording, we are less than a day away from the release of Kingdom Hearts 3 in America and Europe, and for every fan of the series, that means the last month has been recapping the story so far, which if you haven't played a Kingdom Hearts game yet and you've been hiding from the internet, means trying to understand one of the most convoluted and lengthy overarching stories in possibly video game history. However, I want to address one of the less talked about but more important questions. Is the Kingdom Hearts narrative structure actually good? Well, no. But before you click off this video screaming blasphemy, let me explain why. The following will contain spoilers for all of the games, including the mobile and browser games. Series director Tetsuya Nomura has always been clear that he's been one step ahead of every release's main plot. When he was making Kingdom Hearts 1, he was already planning Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 2. And this showed, with the sequel baiting ending of Kingdom Hearts 1 where only Kairi makes it home, the epilogue with Sora, Donald and Goofy at the start of their Chain of Memories journey, and the secret movie's mere existence, and has been made even more evident with the latest Nomura interview with Edge magazine where he stated that he waited years for the Disney and Pixar teams to approve Toy Story's inclusion, and for Nomura, no Pixar meant no Kingdom Hearts 3. And this is fine. You can plan ahead and know where your story is going to go. In fact, in most cases, this is preferable. If this was a book or a manga, then this would be perfectly acceptable. And yes, while the series has become that over time, it's first and foremost a video game. And unfortunately, the structure and route it's taken over the last 10 years is not consumer friendly. Let's take a look at the series narrative and its production so far. Kingdom Hearts 1 has a very self-contained story. Of course it does. It's the first game. It had to be, in case they never made sequels. It's accessible for everyone. You don't need to know every small detail about every character. Fantastic. A+. You did good, Square, with your Disney and Final Fantasy crossover. Chain of Memories was the first spin-off game the series had. It released on the Game Boy Advance, and again, the plot is quite self-contained considering the game's nature. You actually didn't have to play the first game to understand what was going on because the entirety of Castle Oblivion's floors takes you through the first game's plot, while Sora goes on a new adventure, which from a developer's point of view is actually really clever. A spin-off game that manages to include the original story whilst adding new plot elements. How cool, right? Of course, to fully understand Sora's relationship with Kairi, then play the first game. Even Riku's story in Chain of Memories is self-contained because you don't follow Riku through the first game anyway, so it's great they fleshed out his character a bit. Kingdom Hearts 2 is where the series really begins to flesh out, but that being said, the game in itself is pretty self-contained. Roxas's tutorial sections at the start of the game go over the main story elements of the first game, so people who start at 2 will still have some knowledge of what was going on. Granted, it's not perfect, but you can indeed play 2 without playing either 1 or Chain of Memories. The perfect excuse of Sora having his memories put back together and Roxas's amnesia but not really amnesia is very approachable for newcomers, and there's not even that much to catch up on at this point. This is where things start to go a bit downhill, ignoring any retconned information and plot holes because let's be honest, every story has them. Kingdom Hearts 358 Over 2 Days, the first spin-off title after Kingdom Hearts 2, and yes, I am ignoring Coded right now. The first spin-off title where you have to play the other games to understand. One part of me argues that a spin-off is for those who want to learn more about the lore but they don't impact the main story. Another argument is that a spin-off game, again, ventures into the lore but does impact the main story. However, you don't have to play it and your story experience is not hindered by not playing it. 358 Over 2 Days on the DS could have been this. Could have. Shion's existence and Roxas's story from his birth at Kingdom Hearts' Hollow Bastion up to his introduction in Kingdom Hearts 2 could have been side plots that were made just for those who wanted to learn more about the character. And a part of me wants to believe this was the intention at one point in development, but you can't play this game without playing at least the 2 mainline games. And even then, the game focuses heavily on Chain of Memories plot elements, so you might as well play the game to get it anyway. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep on the PSP is actually one of the spin-off games you could play without having played any of the other games. Weird, I know, because for so many fans this is one of the big must-plays, and it is. But overall, Birth by Sleep's plot is fairly self-contained. Yes, at points you encounter members of Organization 13's Somebodies, and even Sora, Riku and Kairi, as well as learn how Castle Oblivion came to be, but their inclusion can also be seen as simply just a nod to the rest of the series. This is one of the games that you should play before Kingdom Hearts 3's release, as it includes a load of important plot, but as a standalone game, it doesn't have many, if any, moments that make you wonder if you're supposed to know something already. Now we will talk about Coded. I skipped it earlier because despite being the first actual spin-off after Kingdom Hearts 2, it was just a mobile game in Japan that then became a worldwide DS title later. This title bothers me so much because this was a game that was supposed to be standalone and purposefully not fit into the series' main plot, but now it does, because why not? And that's the reasoning. They tried to fit it into the chronology and arguably it's now one of the most important plots in the series, especially with its added secret movies in the remakes and its connection to the browser and mobile games. But anyway, you most definitely can't play this game game without playing the others. Dream Drop Distance, or 3D, is again a must play, and once again, you cannot play this game without playing the others, but this one is like that to the extreme. 3D should have been a main title game in my opinion. There are so many plot elements covered in this game, the massive one being Xehanort's master plan and use of time travel, which we're not going to talk about why that's stupid, because it is stupid. I'm sorry, but it is. And the fact that Sora not only fails his Mark of Mastery exam, but almost becomes part of Xehanort's master plan and would have if Riku hadn't been there to rescue him. Yet this game is a 3DS title. Why? The answer is obviously that Square saw the 3DS's and Kingdom Hearts' success and thought, we gotta get in on that. But this is also where I feel Nomura's "I planned this all from X point in time" reasoning just jumped ship. This game had so much plot that during its marketing, fans thought this was Kingdom Hearts 3. And I remember the confusion. I was there. But also, unless you were a hardcore fan of the series, I don't think you would have seen its marketing at all. Kingdom Hearts Key and Union Cross also could have been a really good spin-off in terms of allowing players who wanted to know more about the lore learn more in a fun way. But again, they pulled decoded and added characters that have appeared in other installments and tried to tie it in further with the current overarching plot. But because the mobile game hasn't even completed, and won't for that matter, its mystery of who killed Strelitzia, Streliza, however you want to pronounce it, before Kingdom Hearts 3's release, we as a fandom are now left in a state of not knowing what's important to know about this story for the Darkseeker saga and what's not. And this is where the narrative structure for this series became unacceptable. Because first and foremost, this is a video game. It's not a book. It's not a manga. It's a video game. If you still don't understand what I mean by this, I will now explain. For a video game to be successful, it has to be accessible. This doesn't mean every game you've ever disliked is inaccessible, that just means you didn't like it. Gameplay is obviously a major aspect and has to be easy to get to grips with early on, but we're talking in terms of story. You should be able to go through a game and understand vaguely what was going on. There are some games that are just complicated, but they include things within notes or extras, and this is fine too, but again, these should just be things to read if you as the player are concerned with understanding the whole concept and not just the gist of it. This is something that some of these games just don't do. Kingdom Hearts 2 executes the recapping perfectly, and Chain of Memories did it so cleverly that you didn't even know you were doing it. But 3D just throws you in and expects you to be caught up. I also want to briefly mention that with the upcoming Kingdom Hearts 3, it is completely unacceptable to have story elements hidden behind 100% completion rewards like the secret movies, as well as adding extras to the re-releases like Fragmentary Passage, which includes basically the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3 in it, and back cover, which was just a money grab. Secret movies used to be teasers for those who 100% completed the game, and that's fine, but actual plot points that are for the most part important is not okay. Unless Kingdom Hearts 3 has an excellent prologue and tutorial section that fills you in on everything you have missed, which it looks from the reviews that it has, and the Twitter is even linked to videos for you to catch up on, then newcomers to the series are going to be lost. Unfortunately, we also now live in a time where adding a 2 or 3 onto a game series does not necessarily mean direct sequel, and although the fans of this series know that it is a sequel, newcomers who are going in blind won't. And yes, we can sit and blame people for not doing their research all we like, but the gaming industry as a whole has become a place where you can jump into any series at any point, and I don't think Kingdom Hearts should be the exception. A series where you have to jump from console to handheld console to then a different handheld console and then again another is money grabbing and causes the narrative to be broken, and for some people, unless they have 4 to 6 hours to waste on cutscenes, unfollowable. That's why Kingdom Hearts' narrative is bad, at least why I think so. Don't get me wrong, I love the story of Kingdom Hearts. The story in itself is good, but the way in which it's told is awful. Just straight up terrible. I know developers and companies have to make their money somehow and will jump on a console's success, but in this case, it's at the cost of its own story. Let me know what you think. Maybe I got some things wrong or you disagree with some of my points. Feel free to let me know in the comments below. And yes, I know they put all the remakes on PS4, so woo, all on the same console, but don't act like that's not another money grabbing tactic, because they re-released those first two twice. If you liked this video, please feel free to give it a like below and maybe subscribe for more content like this.